All right, Michael's back. M3. I freaked out when I saw a dent, and I very ashamedly said, "Dude, can you come back, please? We'll make another video. It'll be good."
Yeah.
So we have some dents in the M3. We're going to go over the same process we did on the Civic. If you haven't seen that video, but Michael Good, the Dent Company in Tampa, and I took the drive up. We're going to address the M3, get the M3 looking as perfect as possible, and then we have another project we'll work on, but that'll be a separate video. What do you think? Anything drastic on this?
Nope.
Pretty
As
normal,
always,
like door
cars.
opening into the door.
Simple stuff.
Got it.
The simple things.
We'll turn you loose.
All right. Yeah. So you sent me the text. The one ding, of course, this light, brutal as it is, we found a few more.
Yeah.
So they're in a perfect straight line. So we're going to go ahead and
I learned my lesson this time. I didn't call you and say, "Hey, I got one dent." Well, we had 14 last time. So this one's going to be. Are you guys able to see that on camera? It's not the easiest thing to see.
So I'm going upside down on this one because I want my head again to be straight down the line, just like I talked about before, down the line of where I'm working. I'm right-handed. This job requires you to use your left hand a lot, but for the most part, angle of approach, right? I didn't really want to be back here with the light working this way and trying to, get into some kind of, whooping crane position where you're arcing. My head's still here. That's line of sight, right? So it's a lot easier to just invert myself. That was a tough learning experience to be able to get to that point.
When you go upside down, it changes the feel.
Yeah, you want to try it?
No. I'll try on somebody else's car.
You just can't believe that at first, right? So it's a lot easier to see things looking this way than it is to turn over. So it takes forever for you to sync up where the tool is to what's happening in the light. So when I'm going to inspect it, though, to make sure that I've fixed it properly, this light is, we're about 4 feet. So it's just casting a grate. And so I can go this way, which is me taking kind of like a visual screenshot of what I'm seeing, and then flip back over and go after them, kind of take a photograph.
So this time on the car, I waited to do the coating in case we needed to do any glue pulling or anything like that on it.
Yeah, that was smart. All right, so what we're going to do for the remaining ones is we're going to access a nice factory hole here.
Because these are below the...
They're below it, so this tool was awesome for it. So I came in, I went on the inside of the beam, and then as I arced, the throw was about to that point before I touched metal. So now I'm going to be able to come in and go up. We'll roll the window up real quick, get that out of the way. All right. So the hole, which is the factory hole, is all taped up.
You keep getting lucky where these dent locations are, though.
Oh yeah, it's luck.
And the Civic and this.
I had a buddy who's been doing it for like 13 years who fought a dent on one of these cars for, he said about an hour before he called. Anyway, you can help me out. So open the door, there's a huge hole. You just learn. Well, again, none of these dents are bad enough that require an enormous amount of removal and install.
Mm-hmm.
This is a piece of factory orange peel that is really not pretty.
That's a BMW for you.
Yeah.
Love their orange peel.
Could bury a dead cat in them. Interesting, the sound deadening pad on the back side right here is so incredibly thick. Alright, one to go. Get some fast correcting cream. Alright, so I got the lights really cast in a hard fade. So the more light bars that are turned on, the less distance you have between the gray shadowing effect, which is what's really now so attacking depth. Mm-hmm. So if I turn them all on, distance closes. So 2, just checking between, and then this last one is, see the length of the actual board not lit up.
I don't see anything anymore. Am I supposed to be?
No, there's a little.
Yeah.
It's more just orange peel right now that you got. There's some gapping in it that it's just not right. All right. This is for another video then. Yes, you can PDR plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
You have to heat it.
You got to heat it.
Oh.
In some cases, you have to heat it.
Yeah.
And those little ones, no. But you're attacking each little fisheye, right? And you're putting a push right in there, and then you're sanding. So what you're trying to do is effectively sand out a fisheye without digging a ditch,
Right.
which makes then a big low spot. So you pierce it with a really sharp tool right in the center of the fisheye, which is effectively feeling it
Pokes it out, yeah.
level to
it,
its 2 side ridges, and then it's enough for the paper to grab all of the surface versus you're having to try to take down the edges of a volcano to eventually get to the low spot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
again, surgery type stuff. All right.
What else does this car have going on? Anything?
Yeah, that's not right there. There's a load check right here that's not supposed to be there. So we're gonna glue pull. So just right above that. Again, probably camera really won't pick that up, but there's just that's right. Yeah. I think the way that I look at dents, I don't know if it's unique or not, but I'm really just always focusing on the levels of orange peel, and there's light changes of color. So if it's blackening right there and you can see a wave, then you can dissect it even further by looking at it and say, well, what really is going on, which in this case is just a low spot. So
Is that a induced low spot or is that a factory low spot?
it's induced, for sure.
Somebody leaned into it or something.
Yeah. So for the record, this is not interior cleaner.
Okay.
It's 91. It's 91% rubbing alcohol, not denatured. But I love the bottle.
Yeah.
The spray out of it is just, again, probably a little over the top, but I don't know, you just feel it. I've dropped it 10, 15 times, it hasn't broken.
Richard Grier spent a lot of money on those bottles. Get those made. So because this quarter here is kind of stout in comparison to like the Civic we worked on before,
Yeah,
you can be a little bit more aggressive with this kind of.
I can. Yeah, it's not gonna spike pull very easily, which is nice. Wow.
You know, I didn't ask that before. Is that a special glue?
It is. So in the beginning, we used to use whatever glue.
From Michael's or
Yeah, well, Walmart.
yeah.
Worth made stuff for us in the early 2000s, late 90s. And then the last couple of years, there have been some smart guys I wish I could give credit to. I don't know who they are, but trying to make glue for different temperatures. I used to use the green one all the time. Got turned on to this orange one. I mean, since I'm always working pretty much in climate control, I haven't had to test it against, you know, different weather temps, but, you know, we share, we talk. All right, so still a little low on the top. This one is called Orange Fire.
What's your favorite paint or car to work on?
Well, Porsche by far. I know it's going to sound so biased since I've owned them and I love them, and I've made a niche in trying to really cater to that, you know, market. But I mean, they're consistent, right? You go back 10 years, still good. The aluminum isn't to the point where it's impossible to work on. GM makes great metal. I did a 53 Bel Air the other day, and I mean, I could push as hard as I wanted, and instead of it, you know, just poking, or it literally just unfolded. Whatever answer I give you is going to change, right?
Yeah.
They're going to change the way they do things. I can tell you stuff I'm not a big fan of. Hyundai's ultra high strength steel in their doors, buddy. I don't know what they're doing, but that stuff is incredibly challenging to reshape.
Designed for high impact.
Yep. Crumple.
Yeah.
Right? They want it to crumple, so it does, and it doesn't go back without a fight. Ford. So I try not to think so much about the metal as I do the construction piece, right? Like, you know, I've got to get to the dent. So who is building great cars with incredible, you know, look how easy it was to get to those dents.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, that was nice.
It comes down to the root engineering of the car and
Yeah. Okay.
future serviceability access.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take this off. It's starting to bother me a little bit. And then I've got to step away from it and see it from farther away and blend it out. Okay. Clean off a little bit.
I feel a little different when like if I didn't know you and someone was hammering on my car, I'd be like, oh man, does he really know?
What a chop,
But I
right?
feel super calm and collected.
You're just over there at peace.
Yeah, it's someone. I could do this all day. Just chill right here.
Yeah. Again, it was a little low, right? But it was a broad one. In the middle of the low, there's a dark trench, which was whatever at one point hit it. So I used tabs that kind of mirrored, not so much the circumference, but the actual strike down in the bottom. Just pulled a few times, shifting, millimeters. Each pull creates a new circumference. Each pull creates a new depth. So once I got it to the point where it started to match this edge, I just started to kind of really blend, sending vibrations through the metal to not only knock down the back side here that's a little bit high, but to also bring it back. Coming this way. So this was, you know, the light should be picking it up. It's factory to an extent. It's a little bit over there, but it's too broad. It's bigger, and once pointed out, you kind of can tell. And I didn't really like it, so I want to match the other side, which means that there's going to be still purposely left a little bit of a low. It's just not going to be such a big one. It's about the size of a pea right here in the corner is what it should be. So I'm able to kind of get right behind it through the little trap door that they have in the interior here without having to take a lot apart. Great, again, right over the top of it. However, pushing straight into it. And of course, because it's a corner, it's tight. I'm breaking a sweat. So it's starting to diminish. If you just pay attention, like this is going to be black, a little bit darker, but like as the shape of the fade is starting to try to close itself, especially up here at the top, just means it's getting more level. But each push changes something. Again, I've been doing it so long, each one is specific. I'm reading the change and then putting where I want it to go. Majority of all that pushing was with a really hard plastic cap over it. It's a pretty simple tool. And now we're gonna take that off, and it's gonna allow me to apply a little bit more pressure.
But you can actually see the tip of the tool through the metal.
Yeah, I can. You could too. You just wouldn't know exactly where's, I mean, again, right? Like everything with Paintless Dent repair is with dead precision. The better you are at being more precise, the better you're going to be at as a technician. Mm-hmm. So your push gapping, meaning like each push gets closer and closer, you're able to see and identify something that you need to push. The longer you do it, better training you have, or a mentor is going to be able to help you put that push right where you need to. And then more often, the more you do that, the more accurate you become, the more challenging stuff you can start to begin to fix.
I'm starting to understand the process. It's kind of like playing chess. You're thinking 5 moves ahead, right?
Yeah, you are.
So you don't just go right to the valley of the, let's say it's a volcano, in a reverse volcano. You don't go right to the tip.
Nope.
Right? And
Because
a lay person, I would think, well, I'll just go push it out right at the point, and that's all I got to do.
Right. Yeah.
But instead, you're thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. I'm going to do this, but then I need to do that in order to solve, step by step. Is that
you're dead on
accurate?
Yeah, dead on. It's exactly it. And so the longer tenured you are at it, the more you push yourself to do, amazing work, which, in a sense is like you're almost perfecting factory flaws and you're really trying to be as perfect as possible. It's all about your push dispersion rate. Like, I know it sounds so geeky. Other guys watching will probably be like, whatever, man. But it's true. If you are pushing and you are creating level changes in the depth of the metal, simultaneously also creating orange peel because you're pushing and making, a pseudo push mark, or you're taking a piece of orange peel and you're hitting right on it and making it higher, it's creating level issues in the paint, not necessarily in the metal itself. So sometimes you literally got to push, 1 millimeter, a fraction of a millimeter right next to that. And so you get one shot at it. So you think about it like, I'm staring at it's beyond a speck. And my body is syncing up with my mind saying, push right there, and it's pushing right there. So once I switched to metal, we got a little bit of push marks. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit that with like 3000. I mean, they're microscopic, but nonetheless they're there. You got a polisher I can borrow today?
Yeah.
I left one.
Ooh, I got some.
I heard
some fun ones for you. What kind of pad do you need?
Microfiber pad.
You want a 1 inch or 3 inch?
1 inch would be great.
This is equivalent to microfiber.
Is it?
Wool.
Perfect.
I don't have any microfibers.
Not in the 1 inch, right?
I have them, but I just don't have it over here.
That's fine. Okay.
You know, a while to figure out. And if you push in, it'll lock in.
I like it.
It's pretty nifty.
Voila. By the way, PDR industry, I'm sure a lot of guys already have this, but especially for hail guys, since they're sanding smaller, it's a good tool to get.
Yeah.
That's an amazing tool, Matt. How much are those?
This one's $400. Comes with 2 batteries, a charger. Comes with a rotary, 1 inch, 3 inch, a 12 millimeter, and a 3 millimeter orbit.
Wow.
So if you wanted a 3 millimeter sand,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
Comes
Wow.
with a little sanding interface. So it's a whole kit. It's pretty neat. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
The little Rupes 1 inch is also nice. I still think people would want both because the Rupes is not as bulky, in the 1 inch. So
Yeah, the
I
little
like
nano
this.
one.
I like this more as a 3 inch device.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I can't get this big head in there. But this stalls a lot less than a Rupes would.
Yeah, I like that. Little dents. Now little dent, big problem.
I don't like big problems.
Yeah, little dent. How about big challenge? Bad spot. So access is incredibly limited. Normally we would glue pull. The bottom of the dent has the beginning stages of what's like a cut in the clear, which means the dent also dented the clear itself, right? So
You can't just reach up in there and get that?
No, I can't, unfortunately.
Come on, man. I can get that.
Quarter panels, again, getting back to them. They're not open like fenders. You remove the liner, you're just going to get met with more stuff. So you can attack this a few different ways. I don't know every single BMW model, but I do know that every one of them has factory drain holes once you remove this, and we'll dive into that. I think this, some of them are right here, kind of allow you to try to come in like that. So wheel and tire off, fender liner off. Option 2 is bumper off. We snake up in through the actual vent that's behind the bumper, come up and around and get in there. And then, option 3 is pray we can dive down in through with the taillight opening. And then option 4 is you're literally taking everything out on the inside and coming in, because it's right at the part where you see the skin, but what you don't see is all the infrastructure underneath. So eventually that skin starts to meet infrastructure. In this case, the infrastructure is the actual metal wheel arch that the car is built with. Let me take a look here. Yeah, otherwise this would be a pretty straightforward glue repair. I found dirt in Matt's cars, guys. Nobody ever looks.
I like this. It makes me feel good when we lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to make it down there. We're not going to dive far enough. Yeah. So what's happening is, and it's kind of what I thought. That's why it was one of the last more options. is here we are. Here's Dent. I mean, here is my finger on what you would think is the backside, and I'm spaced out about that much. So you're not going to be able to push back here and close that gap and then connect that inner metal with the outer metal, and then you're just not going to make it.
Can't you just drill a hole right there?
No. I mean, I guess you could, but I wouldn't do that. So again, we need to arc, coming up like that. So we would take the bumper off at this point, but we'll go tail light now, and we'll see how we come down over the top of it. All right, so after wheel liner, we attempted to try just kind of gut instinct. Tail light is out. We're down here now because there's a little bit of cut in the clear. Once we get the dent up, which is going to be good because there's discoloring the little white mark that caused that dent. We're going to be able to get it out, where otherwise, if you're trying to polish a dent, and I'm sure a ton of paint corrector guys have been in this experience before, and if you're trying to polish paint transfer out of the bottom of a dent, then you get the transfer out, then you see the cut and the clear or whatever caused it. We'll take this out. We'll be able to sand again, just kind of like we did on that side, to really fine tune it, and then voila, this will be dent free. Okay. All right, so instant leverage. So this tool I'm using is super sharp. There is no metal flexing, it is just straight. You're poking kind of in a way to fill in where the dent was at. And now we're at there just is no room for error. We're gonna have to, like I said, we're gonna have to sand, so I'm gonna need to borrow that nifty flex polish. So a lot of challenge in paintless dent repair isn't always necessarily the dent. It's as you guys, it's getting to it. It's finding an effective path, having the experience to know what is that path. In this case, we just weren't gonna risk glue pulling. It's not worth it. It's better to just take a little bit more time. From the customer standpoint, if you guys are watching, I could see how you see something like this and you hear how much stuff you potentially have to take apart. In this case, really, we just needed the taillight, but no matter how experienced you are, no two dents are really ever, I guess, the same. I'm sure that makes, to some extent, makes sense. It's just how it is. Even at 20 plus years, don't know 100% for sure on every single dent. And it's probably about 2-3% of the time where you're gonna have to kind of guess a little bit on how you're gonna approach it. There. It's really too bad. So Matt, come take a look. So remember I was telling you there's a cut, like the actual, so try to get your head right where the dent was. Now it's perfect. Now I can sand it with a little bit of, so this is a really old piece of 3000 grit. I I should probably effectively say it's at about 4,000 now based on some of my sanding experience. Now I really want that cut out of the clear that caused the dang dent not getting obviously on the body line. I really don't need to. Okay. That's it.
All that for that little baby
All
dent
that for that little baby dent.
that I didn't even know was there.
That you didn't even
If
know
we didn't
was
have
there.
that stupid light, I would have never known it.
No, the mics saw it. They saw it without it.
Yeah.
Did you know that? They did. We were just having a casual conversation about dents, and
I purposely try not to look.